Class 2 Chapter 12, Chapter 12, Introduction to Customer Behavioral Processes. Models of Consumer Behavior. The study of consumer behavior focuses on how individuals make decisions to spend their available resources, time, money, effort, on consumption-related items. Schiffman and Kanyuk, 1997. According to Solomon, 1996, consumer behavior is a study of the processes involved when individuals or groups select, purchase, use, or dispose of products, services, ideas, or experiences to satisfy needs and desires. The official definition of consumer behavior given by Belch, 1998, is the process and activities people engage in when searching for, selecting, purchasing, using, evaluating, and disposing of products and services so as to satisfy their needs and desires. Behavior occurs either for the individual, or in the context of a group, or an organization. Consumer behavior involves the use and disposal of products as well as the study of how they are purchased. Product use is often of great interest to the marketer, because this may influence how a product is best positioned or how we can encourage increased consumption. Andreassen's, 1965, model. Andreassen, 1965, proposed one of the earliest models in consumer behavior. Figure 1. His model recognized the importance of information in the consumer decision-making process. It also emphasized the importance of consumer attitudes, although it fails to consider attitudes in relation to repeat purchase behavior. It emphasizes on the importance of attitudes, towards other sources and towards products, substitutes and complements, in decision-making. Further, the model highlights that there are significant constraints that hinder the consumer to purchase, which then influences the decision-making process even further. These are income, budget priorities, physical capacity, household capacity, etc. Information sources, direct experience, personality and consumer attitudes all play a vital role in influencing the consumer's decision-making process. Figure 1.0, Andreassen, 1965, Model on Consumer Behavior in Purchasing. Nicosias, 1976, Model. This model focuses on the relationship between the firm and its potential consumers. The firm communicates with consumers through its marketing messages, advertising, and the consumers react to these messages by purchasing response. Looking to the model, we will find that the firm and the consumer are connected with each other. The firm tries to influence the consumer and the consumer is influencing the firm by his decision. Figure 2.0, Nicosias, 1976, Model on Consumer Decision Processes. The Nicosia model is divided into four major fields. 1. The consumer attitude based on the firm's messages. The first field is divided into two subfields. The first subfield deals with the firm's marketing environment and communication efforts that affect consumer attitudes, the competitive environment, and characteristics of target market. Subfield 2 specifies the consumer characteristics, for example, experience, personality, and how he perceives the promotional idea toward the product. In this stage, the consumer forms his attitude toward the firm's product based on his interpretation of the message. Field 2, Search and Evaluation. The consumer will start to search for other firms' brand and evaluate the firm's brand in comparison with alternate brands. In this case, the firm motivates the consumer to purchase its brands. Field 3, The Act of the Purchase. The result of motivation will arise by convincing the consumer to purchase the firm products from a specific retailer. Field 4, Feedback. This model analyzes the feedback of both the firm and the consumer after purchasing the product. The firm will benefit from its sales data as a feedback, and the consumer will use his experience with the product affects the individual's attitude and predispositions concerning future messages from the firm. Howard Scheth's model. This model suggests three levels of decision-making. The first level describes the extensive problem solving. At this level, the consumer does not have any basic information or knowledge about the brand, and he does not have any preferences for any product. In this situation, the consumer will seek information about all the different brands in the market before purchasing. The second level is limited problem solving. This situation exists for consumers who have little knowledge about the market, or partial knowledge about what they want to purchase. In order to arrive at a brand preference, some comparative brand information is sought. The third level is a habitual response behavior. In this level, the consumer knows very well about the different brands and he can differentiate between the different characteristics of each product, and he already decides to purchase a particular product. According to the Howard-Sheth model, there are four major sets of variables, namely: A. Inputs. These input variables consist of three distinct types of stimuli, information sources, in the consumer's environment. The marketer, in the form of product or brand information, furnishes physical brand characteristics, significative stimuli, and verbal or visual product characteristics, symbolic stimuli. The third type is provided by the consumer's social environment, family, reference group, and social class. All three types of stimuli provide inputs concerning the product class or specific brands to the specific consumer. B. Perceptual and learning constructs. The central part of the model deals with the psychological variables involved when the consumer is contemplating a decision. Some of the variables are perceptual in nature, and are concerned with how the consumer receives and understands the information from the input stimuli and other parts of the model. For example, stimulus ambiguity happened when the consumer does not understand the message from the environment. Perceptual bias occurs if the consumer distorts the information received so that it fits his or her established needs or experience. Learning constructs category: consumers' goals, information about brands, criteria for evaluation, alternatives, preferences and buying intentions are all included. The proposed interaction in between the different variables in the perceptual and learning constructs and other sets give the model its distinctive advantage. C. Outputs. The outputs are the results of the perceptual and learning variables and how the consumers will respond to these variables: attention, brand comprehension, attitudes, and intention. D. Exogenous external variables. Exogenous variables are not directly part of the decision-making process. However, some relevant exogenous variables include the importance of the purchase, consumer personality traits, religion, and time pressure. The decision-making process, which Howard-Sheth model tries to explain, takes place at three input stages: significance, symbolic and social stimuli. In both significative and symbolic stimuli, the model emphasizes on material aspects such as price and quality. These stimuli are not applicable in every society. While in social stimuli the model does not mention the basis of decision-making in this stimulus, such as what influenced the family decision. This may differ from one society to another. Figure 3, Howard-Sheth's model of the decision-making process. Engel-Collett-Blackwell model. This model was created to describe the increasing, fast-growing body of knowledge concerning consumer behavior. This model, like in other models, has gone through many revisions to improve its descriptive ability of the basic relationships between components and subcomponents. This model consists also of 4 stages. First stage, decision process stages. The central focus of the model is on 5 basic decision process stages: problem recognition, search for alternatives, alternate evaluation, during which beliefs may lead to the formation of attitudes, which in turn may result in a purchase intention, purchase, and outcomes. But it is not necessary for every consumer to go through all these stages. It depends on whether it is an extended or a routine problem-solving behavior. Second stage, information input. At this stage the consumer gets information from marketing and non-marketing sources, which also influence the problem recognition stage of the decision-making process. If the consumer still does not arrive to a specific decision, the search for external information will be activated in order to arrive to a choice, or in some cases if the consumer experiences dissonance because the selected alternative is less satisfactory than expected. Third stage, information processing. This stage consists of the consumer's exposure, attention, perception, acceptance, and retention of incoming information.